Howdy readers, I'm Jason, this is Chapter and Verse, and this is your 2026 March of the Mammoths announcement video. Now, March of the Mammoths, as many of you know, is a Booktube event that's been around a long time. I started it years and years ago, feels like now. And I used to co-host it with this friend or that. But in the last couple of years, I've just handled the hosting duties myself, which is going to be the case this year. And insofar as I've been able to kind of be a host to these things, it's really more just a question of me launching the thing. And then people participating as they will, as they choose to. But March of the Mammoths, for those of you who don't know, is a Booktube event that celebrates a book, fiction or nonfiction, that is 800 pages or more, right? So books like A Suitable Boy, books like Bleak House, books like Red Comet, right? The Sylvia Plath biography that I read for March of the Mammoths a few years ago. This is A Moment in the Sun by John Sayles. This is the book I'm going to attempt to read this year for the event. And I started March of the Mammoths because as readers, I think it's easy to allow ourselves to feel intimidated by longer texts, right? Speaking of text, I mean, that's the thing. We live in a world where we all have a phone in our pocket, and we lead such busy lives, and there's so much information coming at us constantly that so much in our lives takes the form of sound bites, right? We write messages to each other. We used to write letters, and we used to write emails, right? And these were both forms or examples that encouraged digression. And anymore, we rarely write letters. We rarely write emails. So all of the information that we send to people or that we receive from people tends to just be bite-sized, right? We're walking around and all of the, or most of the information that we take in, the narrative that we take in, you know, it's like little bite-sized Snickers bars, right? It's like the Halloween candy. And while this is going on our shelves, we have these giant books that have been there for years, decades in some cases, that we've just always been a little bit too daunted to pick up. And so I started March of the Mammoths as a way for people to set aside the time, 1 month in the year, the month of March, where people could summon up the courage, summon up the chutzpah to finally tackle something that they've been wanting to read for a long time. Long books force us to kind of take a breath and sink into them a little bit, like seeds into loam, and we're the better for it, right? About a year ago, I read an article in the Atlantic. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. Actually, yeah. So this article in the Atlantic called "The Elite College Students Who Can't Read Books." Okay. To read a book in college, it helps to have read a book in high school by Rose Horowitz. And let me just read the beginning of this to you. Nicholas Dames has taught literature humanities, Columbia University's required Great Books course since 1998. He loves the job, but it has changed. Over the past decade, students have become overwhelmed by the reading. College kids have never read everything they're assigned, of course, but this feels different. Dames' students now seem bewildered by the thought of finishing multiple books a semester. His colleagues have noticed the same problem. Many students no longer arrive at college, even at highly selective elite colleges, prepared to read books. This development puzzled Dames until one day during the fall 2022 semester when a first-year student came to his office hours to share how challenging she had found the early assignments. Lit Hume often requires students to read a book, sometimes a very long and dense one, in just a week or two. But the student told Dames that at her public high school, she had never been required to read an entire book. She had been assigned excerpts, poetry, and news articles, but not a single book cover to cover. My jaw dropped, Dames told me. The anecdote helped explain the change he was seeing in his students. It's not that they don't want to do the reading, it's that they don't know how. Middle and high schools have stopped asking them to. And I read that, and I found it so alarming and so depressing as somebody who used to be a teacher. And I realized this isn't true of us, right? If we're in this community, we are readers. But I do think it's possible for us, even as readers, to slip into the bad habit of ignoring longer texts in favor of kind of bulking up, say, our Goodreads numbers, or avoiding classics because the prose is more dense and we can't fly through it in the way that we can fly through a contemporary novel, say. Think of March of the Mammoths as an opportunity for you to sharpen your skills as a reader, right? Long books require more attention in many ways, right? We have more characters to keep track of. We have more timelines and plots and subplots and motifs to keep track of. So the idea is to take the month of March and just make a start on a really big book. You don't need to finish it in the month. There aren't any, special prompts or anything to follow. Just take a big book off your shelves and start reading. And if you finish it in March, great. If you don't, that's fine. Read it over the course of the year. Make videos as you choose to or not. It's up to you, really. And if you don't have a channel, you don't make videos, but you want to, participate. Find one or two people that you know well within the community who is participating, and let them know, right? Because when we do these things as a community, it just makes the experience richer. And we remember, I find, we remember what we've read better when we're able to talk about it with other people. So maybe turn March of the Mammoths into a kind of buddy read thing, right? Where, you and a friend take that big giant Dickens novel, or maybe Peter Ackroyd's big biography about Dickens, and read it together and talk about it, right? Go out to coffee if you're in the same town. Get on Zoom if you're not, and once a week, and just catch up with each other and discuss what you've been reading. It's a beautiful thing, reading books together, reading books in the company of others, and when that book is a big, giant, luxurious, beautifully upholstered novel. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a novel; it can be a work of nonfiction. That's even better, right? So that's what March of the Mammoths is for. To give yourself an excuse to finally pick up one of those giant books and see what world is waiting for you. Looking forward to seeing what you plan to tackle. Until then, adios.